Happy holidays. A good morning to you, cherished viewers. You're welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yayura Awuno. And on behalf of Clock TV, I'd like to apologize for the delay in transmission. We were faced with a few technical challenges, but the Lord has spoken and we are good to go here and there. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are on GoTV channel 184, and if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can catch us on social media, particularly on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH and then like, share and subscribe. Follow us on all other social media platforms as well. Join in the live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. And also, when the phone lines are opened, I will also let you know so you can call and weigh in on some of the conversations that we're having. And you can send your messages, your birthday wishes, and shout-outs, festivities, holiday shout-outs to our WhatsApp number that will also be displayed onto your screens. Now, today is, ushering us into Christmas, which is just 2 days away, and our conversations are going to be around the festivities. As on the lifestyle segment, we're going to be interacting with the one and only Chef Phyla, who is making some big impacts in the lives of people in our community with her work and her charity work and her cooking. So we'll be talking with her, finding out how the journey has been, getting a little inspiration here and there. And then also we're going to be having an extended online and print review with my co-host, who will be joining me later in the show. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation as always. So the phone lines will be open so you can call and weigh in on the conversations. Business and sports will be bringing us news as always. So now let's get ready to be motivated for today. As we're entering into the festive season, we want to give ourselves a motivational quote or some motivation that, catches the spirit. It's sharing with us the festivity spirit. And this one is by Marjorie Holmes. And she says, "At Christmas, all roads lead home." At Christmas, all roads lead home. And this is by Marjorie Holmes. Now, she says, this quote here is just to capture the deep emotional pull of Christmas as a season of return. Beyond the physical journeys people make, it speaks to an inner longing to reconnect where we feel most grounded and accepted. Christmas has a way of softening distances, whether created by time, work, conflict, or life's demands, and drawing hearts back to family. Tradition, and even shared memories. Home becomes more than a place. It represents love, belonging, forgiveness, and comfort. In this sense, Christmas reminds us of who we are, where we come from, and the relationships that truly matter, urging us to reconnect with them, even if only in spirit. And as we know, that popular song that says 24th, people will be going to their villages and all of that. Yes, this is just to capture the fact that even as the year goes round and round and, we don't really see our loved ones, Christmas is usually a time where we tend to, make that move. We are more, proactive when it comes to coming home. We go to our village, we go and visit our families, our grandparents, the extended family, and those of you who are also not living with your parents, you also try to go have some fun with your parents, have, family parties and get-togethers, and it's all to just reconnect and show the love, make us more grounded, give us that sense of familial belonging that we may have missed throughout the year. But when it comes to Christmas, you realize that we tend to have that more with us. Now, this is just to say that if you're missing your family, if this time, the seasonal depression is real, and sometimes you may just need to go home. So pick the phone, call somebody, call your mom, call your dad, your relatives, and make the step, take the move to go and visit them, share some love with them. This is a time for us to, commune as humans and social beings. So this is just to say, if you want to go home, you should go home. There's nothing keeping you here. If work is not keeping you here, I'm sorry to say, you should take the step to go home and, enjoy some of the holidays with your family. I'm encouraging that, yes. Now, let's take our weather report. Even though Ghana Meteorological Agency is giving us the weather forecast, I know that the weather is going to be filled with love, peace, joy, and merrymaking. Let's take the weather forecast quickly. Now, this is a 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana, and the summary here says mist or fog patches are expected to form this morning, reducing visibility over the parts of the coast, forest, and mountainous areas. As the day unfolds, generally fair and sunny conditions will prevail across the country, with the northern sector experiencing fairly dry and slightly hazy weather throughout the forecast period. However, localized thunderstorms or rain are anticipated to affect areas of parts of the coast and with its immediate inland areas and the forest zones from late afternoon into the evening. It's also key to note that there will be relatively cool nights and early morning temperatures that are expected over the upper regions, and this is signed by the Central Analysis and Forecasting Office of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So yes, the weather is seemingly getting chilly. I think I'm seeing signs of Hamatan coming in, but we are hoping that this year Christmas comes with the Hamatan, because Christmas without Hamatan is not particularly something we are used to. So Hamatan, we're waiting for you. Yes. Next, we'll be having a conversation with Chef Phyla, so do stay tuned. Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for the lifestyle segment, and I'm filling in for my colleague Miriam Abnadidi, and today's conversation is going to be with Chef Fila of the Guinness World Records Cookathon fame, and a brief, background into what's going to be talked about today, and it's here that our conversation with Chef Fila is going to offer us an intimate and inspiring, one-on-one discussion with her as one of Ghana's most determined culinary icons, known for her bold cookathon attempt, pushing physical and mental boundaries. Chef Fila reflects on the journey, the highs, the lows, the lessons from her journey. The discussion is going to explore the challenges that she encountered during the record-setting feats, the overwhelming public support, and how these experiences have shaped her career. Beyond the spotlight, Chef Fila opens up about her family, private life, and how she balances personal well-being with public expectations. She also speaks candidly about the societal impact of her cooking projects and her role as a symbol of perseverance and what the future holds, including upcoming initiatives that continue to elevate Ghana's culinary landscape. So this conversation is going to be capturing Chef Fila's resilience, passion, and unwavering commitment to leaving a legacy. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Koko Digest Morning Show. It is an honor to speak with you.
Thank you so much.
So we hear that you are making, impact in this Christmas festivity, and we would like a brief background into this initiative.
Yes, so this Christmas, my team and I are going into the central prisons to prepare hot meals for inmates. We are going to be having entertainment and fun games with them. We are going to eat with them, share love with them, celebrate with them, and let them feel that they have not been neglected, they've not been abandoned, they've not been left behind the walls to rot. And we feel that this initiative should be able to motivate our peers, should be able to motivate people in society who are well-to-do, who are okay, to ride on such initiatives and give back to the vulnerable. When we say the vulnerable, the prisoners are part of the people who are vulnerable in society. We are saying that it's not as if these prisoners do not deserve the punishment that they are having behind the walls, but among these prisoners are people who have been accused, people who have been lied on, other people who are standing trials for things they didn't do, but others have equally done their crimes and then they are serving their sentences. And so in everything that we do in judging them, we must realize that humanity is still far better than judgment. And so we extend our empathy and love to them behind the walls this season, not to just go there and then give gifts to officers outside and then move away. We want them to have a feel of what it is like to sit down with families in good chairs, in good tents, in good decorations, in setting up buffets and having to eat with them directly. Yes.
Okay, so coming to you personally, I must say this is a very, very inspiring initiative you're undertaking, and Clock TV would like to say kudos to you, big ups to you, and we wish you success with the initiative. But coming to you, what exactly does celebrating Christmas mean to you?
Oh, I'm a Muslim, but growing up with so many Christian friends and having to see the love they share with myself and other families close, I simply feel that Christmas is not just for Christians, in as much as it's a celebration that comes from the Bible. Yeah. It's not just for Christians. The humanity part of it that extends generosity, that extends love, that extends food to other people in society, tells us how special we are to one another, regardless of our religious affiliations. And what I know is that Ghana is one of the most hospitable countries in the world. And the fact that we Christians and Muslims and pagans are able to cohabit peacefully, to share, to love, and to celebrate with each other simply tells me that my religion should not be a barrier to putting up an initiative during another person's festive season or celebratory period to give back to society. So Christmas is so special to all of us. When the time is here in the days and countdown of Christmas, all of us are just so happy about the preparations ahead, and we just can't wait for Christmas.
Okay, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much. So, Shafaila, we know that you gained national, even global recognition through the Guinness World Record attempt for the Cookathon. How has that publicity, impacted your work?
Yes. So, first of all, to be able to stand in front of millions of people across the globe, from the diaspora, international, locally, across Africa, seeing people troop in, and I just stand in front of them 24 hours and stop cooking 2 meals at a go. That alone is a confident booster. That alone is a confident booster. To be able to look these people in the eye, to be able to stand on cameras 24 hours non-stop, it's a confident booster money cannot buy. And I feel grateful for how that has shaped me. I have inspired so many young girls who felt that location and where they come from is a disadvantage and a vulnerability to their growth. But then having to hit the spotlight all the way from the north in my vulnerability, just through my skill and talent, have inspired a lot of them to know that the location and where you come from is not a barrier. I feel great that during this period, a lot of vendors, very small-scale businesses were there to sell for 10 days straight for free. Whatever income they made out of it, I feel it will impact on their lives, and they'll forever remember what it did for them. You would see a lot of influencers, a lot of TikTokers, a lot of social media people, and how the Cookathon supported on their various pages. In as much as they were supporting me, it was also another form of support to their pages, to where people would go to view a whole lot about the lady who is standing to cook for so many hours and not sleeping.
Right.
When it comes to tourism, it was the first time that you would see our airlines flying so many times in and out to Tamale. In fact, they had to pack their schedules just to convey people from other parts of the country to Tamale in and out. And so the pilots during that period could not rest. When we talk about tourism, we have travel and tour, and that was just so much boost. Transportation, VIP, OA, and others, in fact, gave discounts to people because their buses had to troop into Tamale in their numbers. We talk about accommodation in tourism, and you realize hotels and guest houses in Tamale was full. And so profit was 100%. You will realize food and beverages, people who do restaurants, people who sell drinks and whatever in terms of tourism made 100% profit. A whole lot. Entertainment. When we talk about entertainment, you will realize during the Cookathon that a whole lot of artists were performing. Local drummers, local dancers, art, poetry, students coming to perform on such a national platform. And it was just a very great way to have all these sectors benefiting from one program whilst they gave me support to also continue with whatever I was doing. And so when we talk about benefits, this was an initiative that didn't just benefit me, but benefited everybody who was able to benefit from it indirectly or directly during the Cookathon and even after the Cookathon.
Okay, that was quite amazing. And so with the support you got, would you say that the support has continued even, I think, a year on after your Cookathon attempt?
Yes.
And And how has that also impacted your work?
When you are doing such a program, you remember that you didn't do it as a business venture, and so you are not expecting to cut through a certain amount because you are doing cookathon. No, it was something that has to do with your skills, that you are showing the world what you can do. And so if somebody comes there and decides to give you a penny, it is out of the person's good gesture.
Right.
Yes, and so definitely because it wasn't a business, I wouldn't finish cookathon and then I already become a certain rich woman in life. I needed to still go back to the drawing board to work hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it will open certain opportunities for people to know that the girl is a good chef. She knows how to present food well. She knows how to do this. She knows how to do that. She can endure. When you give her about 100 orders, 200, 500 and more, she would be able to deliver. That's an opportunity wide enough. And so the little I got, what I could have done with it or what I have done with it is to simply push it into my craft. Yes, but I think I made it clear that the bigger dream was to either own a culinary school that can equally serve as a restaurant so that we can serve people our delicious meals for walking. They can walk directly in having a physical location.
Right.
My well-wishers, lovers, fans, and people who love food will simply walk in to be able to equally eat the delicious meals they didn't get to taste during the cookathon. And so we are still praying that with time, I would be able to accomplish this dream. Every single day of my life, I have young girls around me who still feel inspired, even though I don't have a physical location. And so I simply pray that God will come through for us, and having that physical location simply means that these girls can equally be secured. There would be so many girls who can come there for crafts in the hot kitchen and in the cold kitchen, which I am visible to all, and to be able to use that physical location to give back to society.
Right, that was beautiful. We pray that God will definitely come through for you. We are rooting for you, supporting you also. So again, about the support, how has that also impacted your personal and family life? If you can shed some light on that for us.
Pardon me?
How has the support also impacted your life in general, personally, and also for your family, and maybe even in your community?
Oh, like I mentioned, some of my friends that I allocated duties to during the cookathon were people who were into photography, some were into videography, some were into blogging and those stuff. And so during that period, it boosted their game because they had first-hand content, they had first-hand videos, they have first-hand pictures. People are alert and on standby to pick from their platforms. And so, that confidence to be there, given an opportunity to also explore your talent and skill in 10 days, yes, I simply feel that those friends equally benefited. And even after the cookathon, I still call them to my house, and whatever I was able to get, and some of the items that was left, I shared it amongst them. I did share it amongst them. And yes, my family also took pride in the fact that my years of working hard, my years of struggle, my years of consistency and determination that I had always been resilient to behind the scenes, doing orders from the house, organizing events during Christmas that the spotlight and cameras hadn't noticed, finally had come to light. And so they felt so appreciative and grateful to God that it's not as if our daughter just came from the blue and she's doing cookathon. It was simply a platform to tell the world of her years of every single thing that she had been believing in. And so my family, they feel so proud, they feel so happy, and they feel so grateful to God.
Wow.
I remember when my own father was coming into the event with family members come and say hello. In fact, they pushed him away. They
Oh.
pushed him away, and he was struggling with his heart. They pushed the heart away. He finally had to cry out that I am Phile's father. Oh, I am Phile's father.
Oh.
Then somebody told him that, Daddy, today you can come here, come and tell us super stories that Phila is your daughter, because Phila is now a national daughter to all of us. So, so
I see.
Phila is your daughter. In fact, he had to take the intervention of security to help he and family members to come closer and then also come and say hello. And so I feel that they now really took pride in the fact that our daughter has gone global, and we are all grateful for that.
All right. So, like you are having the Christmas behind bars, have there been any other initiatives you've undertaken and any upcoming initiatives also? If you can tell us about those.
So as I mentioned, my challenge in the past was the spotlight. And so after the cookathon, if you go through my pages, you will realize I'm a people lover. If people love me, I also love people. I'm a grassroots person who would go to the layman and go and do anything with them that will put joy and smile into their mouth, their faces. I would do anything to let them feel that they are human. So I used to do those projects. I've had a whole lot of programs that even extends to the Savannah region. Okay. And so the coming year is going to come with a very wonderful project that I believe you all will be interested in. I just don't want to overflow on it this period, because those programs for 2026, oh my God, Ghana will once again be great again through tourism.
Right. Well, amen. Amen. So, being an inspiration to all of us, what can you tell some of the youth with regards to contributing positively, to change during this Christmas?
Pardon me?
I said, with regards to the youth, what would you tell us, to help us to be able to contribute positively when it comes to change in this festive season in our lives and, in our community, as you're doing?
Yes. So what I learned the hard way was that I have been somebody growing up, because of how I was raised. I love to be confidential. I love to be a little bit secretive. And so let's say I go out for an outreach to do something. I prepare like 50 packs of meal, a very delicious meal, 100 packs, 200 packs, some other things. Oh, somebody is critically sick. I'm contacted to contribute, and then I do my own donation from my own pocket to my capacity. And, a lot of these humanitarian things that we can do or I can do, I've done a lot of those things in the past. But I realized one time when somebody wrote a comment on my social media handle on Facebook and was like, how am I giving back to society? That hit me a lot, because I had been somebody who had been giving back without being given to in the past, long ago. The spotlight wasn't just there, and I wasn't the type who would give something to somebody and then use my camera. These things have become contents on TikTok now, where people go and gift the vulnerable, and people even take inspiration, and the comment section is all about, oh, that's so nice of you. It will educate other people to even do more. Down here, it was misinterpreted for show off.
Okay.
It was misinterpreted for show off. And so we really didn't take pride in videoing some of the good things that we did in the past. In fact, those times that there wasn't even TikTok and Facebook, we were doing those things that people are now doing on cameras. And so I would tell anybody who is listening to me that sometimes you cannot move forward and you cannot build yourself into what you want to build if you are listening to too much of what people will say. Oh, this thing that I'll do, people will say this, especially the community you find yourself.
Yeah.
Because the moment you don't try to reason out of the box, especially if you are going on a different path that is so different from what your society has been on the regular, you would have to have an extra confidence to be able to shoot up. Else, you are going to be suppressed in whatever you can do, whatever the world can see about you to be able to support you. You are going to be suppressed. And it will take you a very long time for the world to discover what you can do.
Right. Thank you so much for that. So as a young person, maybe we don't have the money to pull resources and then give some, give to the needy. So what are some of the other ways that maybe the youth can also engage in some of these initiatives? Can we maybe try to reach you and try to support in whatever way we can, volunteer, maybe in your organization, your NGO or something of the sort?
Come in. And in most of these sponsorships and partnerships, you would have to prove a point that this is who I am. This is my influence in society. And so if you help me with this and that, this is what I can do with it. And then this is what it will equally do for your brand and your personality. And so me not being a millionaire, all I do with these projects that I put on board from my brain is to simply get in touch with big brands and tell them, oh, so, my name is Chef Saila. I'm the one who did the cookathon for the country. So I beg you, help me. I want to go to the prison. I want to go and cook for them. I want to go and do this. I want to say, oh, okay, it's a good initiative. Go and come back. Then I do the go and come back and keep knocking. Pack. Till I am giving a bag of rice. There's somebody to give me oil. There's somebody to give me this. Then me too, the small that I have gathered by my own power somewhere, then I'll go and pick it and add. But in doing that, you will realize in all the material circulating across social media, on TV, my banners and posters, I would appreciate those sponsors and partners and tell them how grateful I am. And everybody will equally know that this is how they supported me. So that's what I do to be able to pull up these projects and events.
Right. So when do you also have volunteers coming to, seek an opportunity to help you in one way or the other?
For now and in the past, I have had to make an effort to reach out to people or boldly cry out that, oh, I need help. But to just take my somewhere and something has just come to me like that, maybe I'm yet to see some. I believe 99% of the things that I've gone through for me, I truly made an effort for it. I wasn't just seeing sitting down somewhere, somebody says, go and look for one filer for me. No, I've made effort, 100% effort, and then the help will come through or not.
Okay. So you mentioned, being a Muslim, celebrating Christmas, growing up and all of that. And I would like to ask you, have you had any religious bodies also coming in to support you?
Okay, so last week, for instance, when I was still in Accra, I walked into GH1 Studios to grant an interview ahead of this program. And I saw somebody smiling towards me. And when I got closer, it was Philippa Berfi.
Okay.
Philippa Berfi is a gospel musician that I truly admired when I was very little. In fact, I could sing to her songs. I know her songs were so sorrowful that when you sing it, sometimes it makes you cry. So I truly love this lady. But along the line and some years, I didn't know where she passed in the gospel industry. I only chanced on a material that said, she was outside the country. I said, well, life goes on. Maybe they have to go and work for some time.
Yeah.
So when I saw her at the GH1 Studios, I was so happy. We hugged. She was so happy. She told me how proud she is about the cookathon that I did, not even knowing that I was her number one fan when I was even little. And so the encouragement she also gave to me and the words she shared with me really told me that, in fact, people are watching you from a lot of angles. And so whatever you are doing, you must be doing something that is right. I was so proud. And she didn't just stop there. She asked me to come to, what's the area? There is this area I'll remember the name later.
Okay.
I dropped there for like an hour. She asked me to come there, and then she was able to give me some oil, some mayonnaise, and with some pink tomatoes that I should add it and prepare something delicious for the prisoners. And that was a very generous gesture of her that I would forever be grateful for.
Right. So, aside Philippa Befi, have you had maybe churches, mosques, or other religious bodies of all the religious denominations coming to rally behind you in support?
Not at all. Like I mentioned, there's a few sponsors, and one sponsor I hold in high esteem is Vena and Chelium. That company has really shown me that during, it wasn't just about the cookathon. The aftermath of seeing how my journey will go really means a lot to them. And so any project that I have, you will see Vena coming through, no matter the little that they have. Even if they don't have items, they will force their way to get something little to be able to support me. And so for Vena and Trillium, it's God who will pay them back for me. I cannot pay them back. No, these are white people that I least expected would hold me in high esteem that way. Though other brands once in a blue moon come through for me, but Vena is a consistent one that a home I can run to no matter what the situation is. Oh, wow. And so I want to applaud the management of Trillium Ghana Industries and Vena for the impact they are making on my life. It's a big inspiration to the little ones, and I don't take it for granted. I feel that someday when things are right the way it should, I will honor them and celebrate them the way that I should with my own resources too.
Amen. Amen. Now, before we wrap up quickly, let's talk a little bit more about your Christmas behind bars. What was the inspiration? Why the prisons this year?
I've growing up as a young girl, I've seen people judge people wrongly. I've seen people lie on people. The person knows they are telling lies, yet they tell it. I've seen people hate on people for their own progress. Yes, we have people who are actually just criminals, but we've had innocent people who have simply been lied on. And I believe you, the host, and myself have had one or two cases. You have to explain to another person that this thing you heard about me is a lie. That's not the right story. That's not the true story. But before you can even say your side of the story might have escalated, you see. And that's why sometimes we have to be so empathetic. We shouldn't be judgmental from the onset, because that simple life that didn't land some of us in trouble has landed some other people in jail. And they are behind bars. Some are even incarcerated, jailed for life. Until God comes through for them, there is nothing they can do. And there is no legal team who can probably justify their story and claim their innocence back. So one simple lie can land you into a certain trouble if God hasn't come from heavens to come and save you. That is all for you. And so when I see these people, sometimes when I'm driving through town, they are doing hard labor, they are doing this and that, they are doing that. I just stop by. If I have something small on me, then I give it to the officer to buy water and drinks for them. And then I feel that those who would be coming back to join the society after they serve their sentences, we should not be too hard on them, else they become hardened criminals.
Yeah.
Yes, if we are able to support them and love them behind the walls, they will know that we, the human beings who have freedom outside, this is how we live. This is how kind we are. This is how we behave. They will also pick up good things from it, possibly come back when they are doing well. They will definitely go back to their prisons and support people who are also there and either are accused or they actually did the crimes. So it's not just about the prisons, but I have empathy for every single thing that puts a human being into a vulnerable position.
Wow, God bless you. God bless your kind heart. So before we go, my last question for you would be that, if you can share with us, what are some of the long-lasting impacts you wish to make in the lives of everybody who comes in contact with you?
Pardon me.
So I'm saying that my last question for you is basically that what long-term or long-lasting impacts do you want to make in the lives of everybody that comes into contact with you?
Oh, if we are going to be honest, the cookathon we had, even though they even honor me the certificate, that impact we made, it can never happen again. Even if somebody go and get the certificate, you see what we did. What we did, and in the unity, it fostered that moment. You see both Christians and Muslims celebrating together. Tribes who don't meet are there. They are all celebrating. Cultures have come together to celebrate. What happened during that period is something when I chance on videos seeing the celebratory moment of how my fellow Ghanaians were happy. It's a long-lasting impact that will forever remain in my heart. And if I can ever do something again to see them happy as they are, even if I'll not benefit from it, but the joy that will remain in their hearts will equally remain in my heart forever.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much. And I would like to say God bless you. God bless the works of your hands.
And women who left their shadow. I'm not saying the men didn't come. The men truly supported and women truly supported. But you know what we used to hear when they say woman supporting woman? One were little. My cookathon was truly a defining moment for that thing. Having a whole chief of staff, Mama Frema, lift herself from the Flagstaff house all the way to Tamale to come and see me. You have our current First Lady, Mrs. Lordina Mahama, coming all the way from Accra to Tamale to come and tell me, Phyla, well done. Oh, my sister, all the days of my life, this is an achievement I can never replace. This is an achievement that will stay in my heart forever and ever. So I'm so, and to the ordinary Ghanaian, my fellow Ghanaians who came out, the joy we shared during that period, may God continue to teach us other things we can do, to continue to foster that kind of unity, love, and joy amongst us. And I know that alone will attract expatriates, it will attract tourism, it will attract wonderful people across Africa and the world to know that Ghana is the best place to be.
Thank you so much. And as I was saying, God bless you. God bless the works of your hands and all your endeavors. And we hope to be seeing more of Chef Phyla, making waves in our news. And we hope that you have a good day ahead and all the best in your endeavors. Thank you so much for joining us today, Chef Phyla. So that was Chef Phyla on the line with us, telling us, a little bit about the cookathon, a little bit about some of the initiatives that she's taken. And this year is going to be Christmas Behind Bars. I'm sure we saw the flyer with the information on it. So, if you want to support, I'm sure you can find her on social media and reach out in any way you can. And yes, let's support the good work of Chef Phyla. So it's a very inspiring conversation, and this should motivate us to also be thinking of, the little we can do to support the vulnerable in society. It may not necessarily be that we have to remove some cash and donate or try to cook, but even just becoming volunteers in some of these non-governmental organizations, some of these drives that people organize, help in any way we can, logistically, resources, whatever we can provide. Let us, share the love amidst the merrymaking in this festive season. Thank you so much once again, Chef Fila, for granting us this interview. And this would not have been successful without you, our viewers, as well. Now it's time for us to read some birthday wishes. And this is also a reminder for you to send your Christmas wishes to the WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens. And also, when the phone lines are open later in the show, you can also call and also give your shout outs to us. So let's take the birthdays quickly, then we move on.
I heard today was your birthday. Today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
You're welcome back, and it's time for the birthday segment. So let's take the very first birthday for today. Now, this one is to Diana, and it says, on your special day, I want to remind you of how incredible you are. Happy birthday, D. And this is from James. This one is to Rejoice. Oh, our very own Rejoice. On your special day, the entire team at Clock TV celebrates the light, positivity, and dedication you bring to all that you do. May this new year be filled with joy, growth, and countless reasons to smile. Happy birthday, Rejoice. This is from the entire team here at Clock TV. And yes, so these are the birthdays we have. So please, this is an encouragement to send in your birthday wishes so that we can read them here. If you have any Merry Christmas wishes as well, too, we would love to receive them and help you amplify your voice. Up next will be the online and print review with my co-host with me, so do stay tuned. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review. My co-hosts will be joining me today, and I'll be having Peter Nsia and Nana Awasari joining with me. We're going to also be talking with Miriam Abnadide, who is on the streets of Accra, and she'll be giving us updates on how the atmosphere is in Accra. So we'll be speaking with her briefly, and this is in light of the Christmas festivities. Traffic situations have intensified, but purchasing has also gone up, and a lot more people are in town doing their shopping for the festivities. A lot of people are doing last-minute shopping and the rest, so it's made the situation even worse. Apparently, there's a lot of human traffic in addition to the vehicular traffic. So let's get interactive with Miriam. Hello, Miriam. Hello? Hello, Miriam.
Yes, Yaira.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So it seems your background is really noisy, but we will do our best to hear from you. How is town so far?
Okay, so I'll just go straight to report on what I am seeing currently. Currently, I am standing in front of the Koko board building, and the situation here is a bit calmer as compared to yesterday. Not too many people here as at now. I don't know how the situation is going to be in the afternoon, but I have interacted with a few people to find out how the situation was yesterday that warranted the Ghana National Fire Service to come and spray some water on them. And according to them, the traffic was too much. There were a lot of people here, and people could not move in and out of Accra, and that was why the fire service came in to spray some water to bring down the pressure. I have also interacted with some of the sellers around here, and they are saying, most of them are saying that business is booming for them this year's Christmas, comparably to last year. This year is far, far better. There are a lot of people coming in to buy one or two things. And so that is what is happening here. I was trying to speak to some people so that you could hear their voices and attest to what I am saying, but it looks like everyone is just focused on selling what they have here, and so they do not really want to speak to us at the moment. But currently, this is the situation as at now.
What about your experience getting into town? How was the vehicular traffic like?
My experience.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Yaira, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was asking that your journey into Accra, how was it? Was the vehicular traffic even worse, the congestion?
Oh, okay, so I left the house at 7:15, and it is currently 8:38. I got to Accra around 8:20, and so usually that is not supposed to be like the number of minutes I'll spend to get to Accra, but that should tell you that the traffic in town is starting. People are going to their offices, others are also coming to Accra. And so I left around Koko at exactly 7:30, and I got to Accra at 8:20. That's close to an hour. So that should tell you that there is a little bit of traffic in town as of now.
What about the sellers? Looking at the situation, can you see that business is booming for them, or it's seemingly slow, even with the crowds becoming more?
Can you please come again? I didn't hear you.
I was asking that the sellers, the buying and selling, do you think business is booming, or maybe purchasing is a little low, even though there are a lot of people in town?
Oh, everyone is selling. There are so many sellers here. Prior to this festive season, the Greater Accra Regional Coordination Council made sure that the traders that came to sell in the road or on the road were sent into the market. But as of now, they've multiplied. So there are so many people selling, and it is understandable because everyone wants their products to be sold. And so that is why there are a lot of them in town at the moment.
Can you identify the main things that people seem to be, in a rush for?
Some of the things a lot of people are buying are clothes and shoes, and then vegetables. I mean, the edible ones. So personally, I've seen a lot of people buying clothes, shoes, vegetables, those kind of things. I spoke to one woman who sells sanitary pads and diapers and tissues, and according to her, she said sales are not too good because of the festive season. A lot of people are not purchasing from her, and so those kind of goods are not moving as compared to the edible ones and also the dresses and then the shoes.
Okay. So since you know our sizes, I'm sure you can purchase one thing or two for some of us, and then we'll be most grateful. Thank you so much. We hope that you keep safe and get back to the office as soon as possible and in one piece. Thank you. Right, so that was Miriam Abna-Dede on the line. She is in Accra, and yes, she just gave us a bit of an update on what's going on in town, and it seems that there are a lot of people, as you can see in the videos as well. Lots and lots of people are in town. So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we will start the online and print review segment, the extended version, with my co-host here with me. We'll be talking about the very interesting things happening around us. And you can call and share your opinions, share with us anything happening around you, or send a message to the WhatsApp number displayed on your screen, or to the YouTube and Facebook live stream. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, we are continuing the online and print review segment. Yes, before the break, we spoke with Miriam Abnadidi, who is on the streets of Accra, particularly at Accra Central, Makola, and she gave us a brief update on what's going on there, the crowd situation, the congestion, and, of course, buying and selling. Now, we have a video also on the same issue, so let's take a look quickly.
But it's gonna traffic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It doesn't matter which day. This is gonna traffic. Gonna traffic Friday. But it's gonna traffic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It doesn't matter which day. This is gonna traffic. Gonna traffic Friday. But it's gonna traffic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Right, so that was a video on the traffic situation in town. So we are facing human traffic and, of course, vehicular traffic, both causing serious congestion. We're spending more time on the road to get to our various destinations. Now, I have my co-hosts here with me, Nanaya Wasari and Peter Insia, joining me for the online and print review extended version, and, of course, Christmas edition. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Yara.
Good morning, Yara.
How are we doing?
For me, I'm particularly excited because Chairman is back.
Yes, he's been away for a while.
Chairman is back.
Oh, yes.
Then out the brain.
Never be brave, and I'm also buying it. Don't worry. Once it lands, you get your fair share of it.
Yeah. So viewers, you've heard though.
Even viewers will get their fair share of it. So don't worry.
Give away Sunday.
You hold you accountable.
All right. So, how has your time away been? If you can share with us. Yes, your exploits, travels.
I'm more than Gulliver. Anytime you're away from the country, it helps you to see other perspectives, other places, other cultural, the way people live and all that, and you get to appreciate life even more. And especially if you're at a place that you can comparatively say Ghana's situation is better, then you get to not also. You get to appreciate what our leaders are doing. That our situation is not worse as some other countries are.
Yeah.
And so yes, we are back. But I don't want to mention the countries that I went to so that people will start comparing and all that. But anyway, it's always good to be back, and it feels good to be back home.
All right. So you had a first-hand experience with the attempted coup in Benin, right?
Yes.
So tell us about it. How was it like? Were you scared that you could be kidnapped and things like that?
So surprisingly, when I got to Benin, it was less than 24 hours that the attempted coup had actually happened. And when I got there in the country, it was as though everything was like business as usual. But then there were reports that some people, there could be factions of rebels, there could be factions of there was a military coup.
Yeah.
It's purported that the younger people in the military were the ones who tried to stage a coup.
Okay.
But then later it was refuted because the older heads were able to maybe amass some people and then make sure that they get power back into the democratic hands.
Right.
So that was what happened. So the younger people at the moment were seen to be at large. They had to abandon their houses. They had to leave and flee from the barracks and all that. So there was a search in the night, especially I got there at night as well. There were random searches to find out where they may be at. And so that was the main issue over there. And then, mind you, the French policemen are sort of different, not language wise, but I'm not saying they are different in terms of, but
they don't collect local fuel.
It's not as though they don't collect local fuel. I mean, that thing is a menace in Africa, but what they are or what they look at is their dignity. If you try, even though if you're a foreigner and you try to let's say downplay their importance, and you think that maybe you can say are buying to Ghana police, and then they'll just give you a heads up and you go. This time when you go there and you say anything, they are still sticking to their job. They are doing whatever they want to do. And so it gave me a different perspective about the policemen. Okay. And one of our people was detained for well over 6 hours because the policeman asked him to move, and then he decided not to move. So just because of that, he was detained for about 6 hours. Wow. So that should explain to you. And at the time that we were trying to reach a compromise, try to let his senior commander speak to him and all that. He didn't heed to it until the person apologized. So that shows the kind of sort of personal dignity that they place to their job. As giving an instruction, it's not up to any debate and all that. So that was the situation in Benin. It was calmer than I actually expected it to be. So yes, that's what happened in Benin.
Right. That's just by the way. Now moving into the Christmas festivities and preparations, how is it looking?
I mean, so as reported earlier by Mimi, the streets of Accra are very busy. It didn't start even yesterday. It started about a week ago, traffic in town and all of that. And I would say that we are also a part of this problem. People are talking about the traffic congestion and all that. Yesterday, the Ghana National Fire Service had to intervene, sprinkle some water because of the heat, at CMB. For me, I think that we are part of it because, one, when you go to the marketplace right now, people are selling in the walkways, places that are meant for pedestrians. People are selling there. And then this point to, Christmas is not only for celebration. It's a time that drives business and all that. Those who have the stores have extended their stores to the walkways to display their items. And because of that, the place, the walkways have become congested. Yeah. And then you have these people who are also walking about bargaining prices and all that. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, they are not going to buy anything. They are just there roaming the whole market, walking slowly, just bargaining prices. People go to the market without plan. They don't know what actually exactly they are going to buy. They just wake up, pick car, and just go to the market.
But Peter, for me, I think that's an allowable thing to do. For you to go and window shop, you go and then go and find out how much things cost. So
the whole year, you didn't find time to... when we are trying to buy things.
But the thing is, you cannot place a timetable on anyone that you have to go to the market by this time, or you have to go... If I have the convenience...
It's window shopping...
But people also have the convenience of time at this particular time of the year, because they may be given some time off work, or there's some leeway for them to actually have their way around. So that is one thing that's different. What we have to do is town planning. The behavior of buyers and people who are selling shouldn't be an issue for us to... I may want to go and find out how much a football boot costs at the moment when I go to Accra. And when I get there, I will debate, I'll ask about 3 or 4 people before I buy. That shouldn't be part of the problem. So that's notwithstanding, if you don't have anything and you're just going to do idle about over there, that's a different case. But if you're going to find out how much things cost,
he said they are not buying anything at all.
It's okay.
But it's okay. The truth about this matter too is about the timing. What would you decide to stay at home and go this time of the season or this time of the year when we all know that there's always traffic? People are traveling to Accra. People, those uptown are traveling. They are back to the country and all that. Why would you wait for this time before you go?
For me, it's widely known that whenever we are getting to the end of the year, historical trends will tell you that there's influx of foreign currency, especially the dollar. And last year, or the year before, we saw that the dollar came down very much, or 2 years ago, it came down very much when it was getting to December, because there's an influx of people coming in with foreign exchange. So the demand of the CD actually rises because they come in and they want to change their money into CDs and spend. Yeah. So there's an influx of more dollars into our economy, and that's one of the main characteristics or reasons why the CD rises. And then when that happens, prices also come down. So people have the general perception that when I go to the markets around this particular time of the year, I'm going to find cheaper goods. I'm going to find cheaper prices of things. And also around the same time, people get paid their 11th month bonus, their 13th month bonus, if I should say, November, their 13th month bonus, and whatnot. So people to save for the end of the year so that they can buy things that they want to buy. So a lot of buyer characteristics are there. But what should be put in place, rather, as you mentioned clearly first, is walkways that people are supposed to pass on shouldn't be allowed. Sellers shouldn't be allowed to sell. If you can reduce hawkers and then put them in, we have very good stores, but you go there, you enter deep inside Cantonment and the likes, and you realize that those stores are not even occupied because almost all the people over there have now brought their things to the roadside to come and sell. If we have regulations on that, if you have the town council, we have the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and then their council members going around and enforcing these things, then we'll be able to say that the congestion will be reduced, but not putting it on there.
You mentioned town planning, and town planning should not just be town planning. It should be town planning with foresight into the future.
Yeah.
Because 50 years ago, we were not 30 million as a nation.
Yeah.
50 years down the line, we're about 33 million, no?
Even 15 years ago.
Right. And rural-urban migration, all these factors, economic indicators, population growth, all of that, are to be factored into some of these things. Now, something like Makola Market, yes, it's been able to still sort of hold its fort for a while. But 15 years from now, are we going to still be able to continue look at even now, Christmas? I think there was a time I was standing. I was in a stand. People, there was no car, there's just people. You see? And if this is now 15, even bringing it down to 15 years from now, what would happen? Will there even be space between us? Will we be packed there like sardines? These are things that need to be considered. So if, let's say, new markets are being established, these laws are also being put in place, we need to have some foresight that, okay, population would increase, we need to expand certain things, we need to do ABC, so that we won't be back here, or maybe the next generation will not be here talking about the same issue that their forefathers didn't have any insights, or foresight, into the future to know that, okay, we need space. Because right now, all the people that were cleared from the roads are back. And then the buyers' behavior. You mentioned Kantamanto. Because of the traffic already at Makola, they'll drop you somewhere around the filling station in front of ECG if you're lucky. The walk to Kantamanto is far. And the sun, the people, all these things. A lot of people are not exactly, I don't know what word to use, but a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. People don't want to walk deep into, because it's tiring, carrying the load and all of that. This is not to justify that behavior, but this is just to say that this is the reality. So knowing that people wouldn't want to come all the way into Kantamanto to buy, this is just an example. They would rather bring the wares to, the outskirts of the market, where the buyer feels, okay, this is more convenient, let me just purchase. And in that, they also inflate the price. So you realize that a lot of people would go into the deeper parts of Makola at very early hours of the morning, where there isn't a lot of people there, and freedom, the movement is much, much freer. The sun is also not up, because honestly, shopping in town in the open market under the sun is very, very terrible. What's your take on this?
I mean, so when you take a look at Africa, so let me break it down to West Africa. Accra is not the only overpopulated, let me use the word overpopulated, city within, let's say, Africa. So, I mean, all that you just mentioned, these are long-term goals. But for now, short-term goals, for now, this is what we have. What are some of the things that we can do to prevent this traffic congestion and all that? So, as I stated earlier, that we are a part of it, which of course all of us agree to the fact that we are a part of it. So, when you take all that we've mentioned aside, there's an issue of double parking. People with cars park anyhow.
Yes, and anywhere.
Anywhere. Already, we have so many cars on our roads already. And now that is the Christmas season, you don't even see the commercial cars. It's just the private cars and then the Uber and then the boat cars. everybody is looking for convenience, and so instead of people, boarding their buses, they prefer to board, private cars and all of that. And so what we can do to ease this traffic and congestion here is to ensure that people do not do double parking and all of that. And then 2, if it is possible, we should, all those going to the market at this point of time, if you have a private car, because of the traffic, you can even park your private car and join the commercial buses. And so if you have only the commercial buses, running through the market, I know it's not going to sound well in the ears of some people. But for safety's sake, so you can be in your private car and spend over 3 hours at one place.
In the comfort of my AC, rather than this rickety bus that the driver and the mate also inflate the price, when I could have been enjoying myself.
That one too aside.
That's something that someone was saying.
The economic indicators and all that. Yesterday we were in town, and most of the people that we had interactions with, they from the beginning of the year, things have not really changed. Somewhere from May to this time, things have not really changed. So now when you take a look at inflation is around 6.3, and then monetary policy rate is around 18. Now fuel prices are between 15 and 11 cedis per liter. And so, so when we spoke to the drivers and then the travelers, they are saying that they've not increased transportation and all of that. And so things have been steady for the past 6 months now. And so it's not like it's during this Christmas that they've reduced prices and, things have become cheaper. That's why people are rushing to buy things. It has been there. There has not been changes. And so I think our lifestyle, there should be changes. The timing of our markets, like if you want to buy things for Christmas, you shouldn't wait till the latter parts.
Sometimes maybe you've been swamped with work back to back.
I mean, so if you are to
for me, I don't want to actually put the burden on the on the behavioral change of the buyer, because it's been like that. But as Yaira rightly put it, what happens to town planning? Now, we are talking about private cars, and then we are talking about public transports and the likes. Now, for some time now, we saw that when you get to Accra, near Makola, there's Rolling Circle. That's where we used to park our cars at.
Is it Paco? Rolling Circle is Madina.
Is Rolling Circle?
There's Rollins Park, and then there's Rolling Circle.
So
Rollins Park is Accra. The circle is around Madina.
The area I'm talking about. That's where cars are supposed to be parked at.
But
then when you go there now, it's been commercialized. It's become a market. Now, apart from that, there are different parking lots. Even to an extent that I may be corrected, but when you go to sometimes a law school, some people take the chance to even park over there and then go and shop at Accra.
But there are actually underground parking and even parking spaces on the top of the old Makola building, where I think it's per hour. You pay hourly for that, and I've been privy to that area to see that place being used, and people do use it. There are about 4 floors, all for parking. Then there's another one close to you see where the statue is, where the bookshops are. I think somewhere around that area. Where you buy a lot of stationery. Yes, there's another parking space there to also pay per hour, and it's safer.
But those parking lots, what I was driving at was those parking lots were in existence 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, what has been the national plan for additional parking in and around the environs? What has been the national plan for, let's say, can we all just park close to where birth and death is, because there's vast land over there, and then we'll have a national shuttle to move us from that place to the central business district, where you can actually buy your stuff and then get another shuttle, a governmental shuttle, to move you back, so that congestion is reduced. So there are a lot of things that we have to come to the fore that we have to understand that we've not thought of that. We've not thought about convenience of buyers. All we've been trying to do is building new Makola Mall. We've built Makola Mall, old Makola Shopping Mall, new Makola Shopping Mall. We've done a lot of upgrades. Redesigned the stalls at Cantamanto after the fire outbreak. We've done a lot of things over there. But when it comes to the welfare of those who are coming to purchase, we've not actually thought of that. And if we can just turn our attentions to that direction and then see how we can make it better, because at the moment there isn't any way that you can actually go on about it. And putting the burden on the buyer once again to make sure that they buy whatever they want in October or November, I'm not sure that's the best solution.
And even the sellers, like right now, as you mentioned, because of the festive season, all of that, was it red or yellow line thingy that was done to clear them? It's been nullified because they think that this is the way to go to be able to get to sell their wares. So part of the burden also falls on them, that it does not matter where you are located. If your buyer is coming, they will come. You don't need to be risking your life and the life of your buyer because of whatever amount of money you are going to make. So we also need to, I don't know if some form of education would be done, because it seems that the seller's, reaction or the seller's behavior is in reaction to the buyer who is seeking convenience. Now, this is a bit of a digression, but sometimes you see that we talk about culture shock in other countries where people who were in Africa move into Western or other states which are not, or outside the continent, let me just put it that way. And they're like, they sit on the road and there's no plantain chips to buy. They don't get to buy water and all of those things. But this is, how much time are we going to spend on that before we get to be able to discipline ourselves to know that, okay, we are going to get hawkers off the streets. We are going to get people off the streets from selling, put them in stores, put, shops at various bus stops for convenience. So wherever you are going, you can acquire or purchase anything you need, rather than these people risking their lives daily on our roads and even in the markets. So when we think about that, so sometimes you realize that people would say they love their home country, their Africa, just because of these things that are seemingly convenient, but in the long run, they endanger our lives. And so it's a reaction thing. One can't go without the other.
What I also want to say is that Ghana has never been a country that does not have the laws and regulations being put in place. Our main issue has always been enforcement of these laws and regulations. Now, you talked about the yellow and red lines and all that. Now they've been nullified. They just enforced it just less than 2 months ago. And if you can enforce a system less than 2 months ago, and then now, 2 months after, it's been nullified, then what are you trying to pass across to the people who you're trying to set the rules or those lines for? You're just trying to tell them that, however, people are still being paid as part of the town councils of the district assemblies for enforcement and all these things. They are being paid either by the government or through internally generated funds. Now you go around and you take taxes or tolls from these people that sell, and still you're not giving them the convenience, or you're not giving them the places that they want, or you're not enforcing that which you're supposed to enforce. So part of the blame also has to be put on these MDAs and MMDAs, that they have to make sure that the right thing is done. That's the main reason why the government level was decentralized to the MMDAs. So if you are not being able to just take care of red line, black line, yellow line, and the likes, then how are we going to fight this particular menace? As well, when you talked about the cultural shock, these same people, right? You put them, and let's go to New York. If you want to get a bus on Broadway, you need to walk for about 15 minutes. And Ghanaians will go there and then they'll walk.
But they'll tell you footbridge is too long here.
You walk. So sometimes we also pamper our people. When you go to London and you go to Birmingham and you want to get a bus, you can walk as much as 12 minutes from your house before you get the next available bus. But now you are telling people that you are light at, let's say, Koko board, and you walk 10 minutes to Kantamanto, or 12 minutes to Kantamanto to get to get what you're supposed to get, and then you walk back and then get a bus. They'll complain about it. So it's how, so if I can put it in vernacular, in that particular regard, we want convenience to an extent that we are over-conveniencing ourselves to the detriment of development.
Yeah.
So we have to now balance the two and then find out the best appropriate way to go on about it.
You know, that with this conversation, as you mentioned, and I just mentioned that they will complain about how much time it takes to use a footbridge. But you go to other countries and adhere to these same rules and regulations. So the problem is like there's a bit of I think every faction in this situation has a bit of a role to play, the stakeholders, the sellers, the buyers, and then also even the transport operators, even our government, even we, the ones talking about it. We also need to make sure that we are not exactly biased in any way, because we are consumers. Maybe some of us also go and sell. We would also want to speak in defense, but we need to also be objective about these things. Because, and to what end? You have a footbridge there to save your life, and one way or another, a car knocks you down right in front of the footbridge. Who are you doing?
So I've been saying this, that we don't have to. People will always use your leniency to be your weakness. And then when it comes to situations like this, we don't have to look at the other side too much. Like you rightly said, people will go out to other countries and ensure that they follow their rules and regulations to ensure that country is a better place. But then when they come to their own,
the extent to which Ghanaians use zebra crossings when they travel out of the country, it's amazing. So as he said, we are using our leniency, exploiting that.
And there's another thing we should also talk about: sanitation and hygiene. These people selling on the shoulders of the road, how much access do they even have to washrooms and clean washrooms to use? Now, the people in the stalls and whatnot may have washrooms on each floor. These state-of-the-art buildings, definitely these provisions may have been made. But the people on the road selling food to you, aside the washroom use, washing their hands, hopefully with soap and water, the exposure to flies, to people passing, coughing, sneezing. Yes, I'm hoping that this is going to discourage a lot of us from, purchasing a lot of the words. You see, they put up the fish, the tolo beef, meat, and it's just flies. People are passing by. Somebody could just easily sneeze. And somebody will say, oh, if you cook it. But, how many times are we going to keep doing this for ourselves? Because look at the cholera outbreak issues. Look at the amount of disease issues. I remember seeing a research topic about these hawkers, and there was a bacteria, E. coli, which is usually found in fecal matter, was found on the wares they are selling. I think it was being used on plantain chips or Burkina, one of them, or both. And this goes to tell you that these people, most of them don't have access to proper washrooms to wash their hands before they touch these things that when we buy, especially items that, like using plantain chips as an example, items that when you buy, even if you've sanitized your hands, once you touch this infected packaging, open it, pick out to consume, you have put something in your body.
Now you've painted a very graphic picture.
Yes.
of how
somebody did this to me, and it's lived with me for a very long time. And this is what's happening. Even in the markets, these vegetables, sometimes you go, from my perspective, when you go to town, all the walking, the sitting in the traffic to come home. Sometimes you are so exhausted that how many people are able to actually soak their vegetables and all of that in vinegar or brine or salt water, all of that, to actually sanitize this food properly to, cook? And if these people are put in the stalls and everything is properly done, half of these issues will be cut. very, very terrible issue here.
But, so the whole issue is that why do people go to the markets place? It's just to buy things that they need, right? And what happens to our mini markets and shops in our various, neighborhoods, our various places? What happens? So the fact is that yesterday I was speaking to one woman who made mention of something, and I think I agree with her that if there is price control, you wouldn't see these number of people rushing to one place just because, just to get goods at a cheaper price. Here lies the case: when you go to Tudu to buy something at, let's say, 5 cedis, you take it to Sotium and sell it at 10 cedis.
They'll tell you their transportation is.
So if there's this kind of price control, which of course will be a problem, if there's price control, you wouldn't get this number of people rushing to places like this to buy items, because at your doorstep you can get it.
Yeah.
If the difference is about, let's say, 1 cedi or 2 cedis, you also think about it. So from my place to Makola Market, if I want to buy, let's say, onion or pepper, and then my place, they are selling it at, let's say, 5 cedis, and then when I come to Makola, it's, let's say, 4 cedis, I would rather buy it at my place at 5 cedis, because when I'm coming, the transport and then the comfort, the convenience is it. But here lies the case: they are selling here at 4 cedis. Somebody will buy it from here and sell it to you at your place, let's say, at 15 cedis or 20 cedis. So when you consider all those, the difference is huge.
Yes, and they'll tell you that it is transportation. They're in and out. Yes.
So for price control to actually work and work well in this country, then I think we have to look at our distribution networks, right from the farm to where the stalls are. What are the means of distributions? So there are wholesalers and there are retailers. Wholesalers are selling it at a certain particular price. So where are we going to also limit the price control at? Because there's a limit to which you can actually exercise price control. If I'm, let's say, living in a now developing area, somewhere, maybe somewhere after Santor, some deep area over there, and that's where I'm living. And I come all the way to Accra, buy it at the same price with someone that is a distributor or a wholesaler at Accra. You are living at, let's say, Medina. You buy the thing for 5 cedis. I buy the thing for 5 cedis. My expenditure on transportation is going to be more than what you are going to incur, because you are getting to just Medina. I'm going deeper in outskirts of the country. So yeah, that was just by the way. So if our distribution networks or our product distributions are not sort of sanitized or made regularized, or then it will be very difficult to enforce price control using the scenario that I've given. That someone going to buy the same volume of goods at Accra, then if you tell us to sell it at the same price, then you are not doing justice to me, because I'm incurring more variable costs than you are incurring. So for price controls and all those things to work, we have to look at all these other factors and see how the government can then put in some measures. Let's say, okay, if you are opening a new store in a developing area where it's very difficult to get these things, we are giving you maybe a tax rebate of, let's say, 4 months, so that you can actually stock up your shop with the same person as the Medina, and you can give competitive prices. Otherwise, we'll still be ending up going to the same central point to go and get our goods. And then when we come back, we'll still sell it at the prices that we feel will be convenient to us.
Aside the transportation issue too, we have the open market, which is the usual Makola and all of that. And then people also have these supermarkets and shops and all of that. And they tend to put some, burden on the prices or the buyer, because, sometimes you're buying this tablet in a supermarket, and it is about 2 times the price of this tablet in the open market. They'll tell you that AC, there's no dust on it, all of those things. The shop is probably rented, the people must make their money. So I think when it comes to price control, there should be a range where maybe if an item is 10 cedis, the highest anybody can sell it should be 15 cedis. based on the location. So like you said, yeah, probably somewhere far away based on that you are at liberty to sell at 15 cities. But let's say you bought from Accra, you live in, let's say, Osu. The distance there should not warrant that much as compared to somebody who is beyond Santor, you see. So, because we need to be realistic about this, because as the person is also going, buying and selling, they also want to make a profit. Businessman, if you can help us with that. Yeah. So, profit and loss. And if you are buying something at the wholesale price, you're retailing it, and you don't have anything to put on it that, okay, this is what I am making as, you know, my profit from the sale, then you're just going to be breaking even. And are you moving forward or moving backward in that situation? And these profits would also probably go into the other investments like the electricity, maintenance of the shops and all of that. I would like to hear from you, businessman, before we go to the next story.
Yes, but then, like, what we practice currently is that, so when we have wholesale prices and retail prices. Yeah. So when you go and you want to buy, let's say, mobile phone, you want to buy one. The price is different from someone who wants to buy like 10 or 15. And so me buying it one, let's say the price is, let's say 15 cedis, and you want to buy like 15 because you are buying and you're going to sell. So the prices like differs. And so I think even with that, so like you made mention, if you're closer to Accra, it's to your advantage. Yeah. So instead of buying from a retail shop, you decide to go and get it wholesale. And even with wholesale, you are going to buy one. So at the end of the day, you buy it at the same price. So it's better you buy it from a retailer rather than going there, since you can buy more than one. You see that thing. And so the thing varies. Like Nana said, the thing varies. So the price control is what will help. But then the price control too is something that is very difficult.
We say price control, and on the surface level, it looks like that's the best answer. Setting a maximum or price ceiling for different goods and services and all that. But then again, people operate businesses to make profit. Yeah. That's the main motive for entering businesses. And if there are no competitive advantages, you know, then people then put the controls away and put matters in their own hands, because their businesses need to survive. Sure. So that's one thing also that we have to look at. So if we are doing regulation for price controls and all that, we have to make sure that we are including that which I don't know how the government can actually put their hands in, maybe tax rebates, maybe if the government was the one in charge of distribution channels for our goods and services, then they can actually say that, you know what, we are putting all freshly made tomatoes to 15 cedis per maybe per kilo or carton. And when you do that, and then you're selling it in a price that's not in conformity with that, then they can actually hold you to ransom. But if you're not helping me to distribute my goods and services, and I'm coming to do my own distribution, coming to buy them, imagine me going to pick things at Accra at this particular time of the day, how much the driver is going to charge me in this traffic. And then I come back and then you're telling me that I should sell one kilo of tomato for 10 cedis because that's the price that you set. I will not listen to you, because you played no role in my sort of productive endeavor. So these are some of the things that we have to look at to make sure that price controls will be really enforced.
Right. So
before we go to the next story, I have an interesting story trending. Yes. So I would like us to take that one first. Yeah. So yesterday, the CRM committee responsible for, beginning this year, President John Dramani Mahama set up a committee to, check the Constitution Review Committee. Yeah. And then yesterday, 22nd, they brought the final report to the President at the Jubilee House. And very interesting, their recommendations. I would like us to touch on 3 of their recommendations. Okay. And one is that the committee is actually chaired by Professor Kwesi Prepra. He chaired the committee, the 8-member committee. And then the reports is quite interesting. So the committee proposes no amendment to Article 662 So let me just put that. So the committee recommends an amendment to Article 66, Clause 1, to extend the length of a president's term of office from 4 years to 5 years. And then the committee recommends an amendment to Article 62B to lower the minimum age a person must attain to qualify for election as president from 40 years to 30 years.
Then
And
there's hope.
yes. And there's one, too, I want to touch on. That the number of members of parliament should be capped at 276. And then the number of ministers, both deputy and main ministers, should be capped at 57. And that no member of parliament should be a minister at the same time. You can't be an MP and be a minister at the same time. So these are interesting things.
But the MP and minister thing, it's an adoption of both the British and the American systems. So we would have to probably sit down and decide, are we going with one or the other? Yes. But then again, reducing the age for presidency to 30, imagine.
I mean, so
well, these are just reforms to make sure that we get maybe some, we score some points on a global scale when it comes to youth involvement and then diversity and inclusion. All these things, we get to score some points, and then it makes Ghana look good on the international market. But if you are going to look at a profile of a person that can actually be president at age 30, then it has some time coming. So if
and then
they do
changing
that, it's okay.
the terms from 4 years to 5.
And,
It has a bad government.
No, it has, yes, so it has the positive aspect of it and the negative aspect of it. We've been complaining that 4 years is not enough for a president to actually implement 8 policies and all that. And so at the end of the day, they promise us this is what they want to do, and then 4 years down the line, they are not able to implement it. And then when you ask, they tell you the time is very limited.
So not to cut you, but there's never going to be enough time for anyone to accomplish anything if we do not have a national developmental plan. If we do not have let's say 30-year developmental plan or 40-year developmental plan in place, that we have this developmental plan that no matter the political party that comes to assume power, they are still going straight on the developmental plan. And one of the backbones of the institutions that are supposed to ensure this is the civil service, because government go, they are the ones who still remain. So if we are supposed to do that, then we have to strengthen the civil service. If we strengthen the civil service and we have a developmental plan, a national developmental plan, and we have that in place, then if a president comes and he stays for 4 years, he's done the bidding of the people in terms of the national developmental plan. And then another one comes, he does another 4 years. Then it's the same. But if we increase it to 5 years, and party A comes and then they do what they are supposed to do, and then because you can never finish developing a country or complete it to some extent in 5 years. So when they also come in and they are going, they leave behind issues that will not be accomplished. For instance, we look at the one district, one factory. We don't know what has come to it at the moment, but a lot of taxpayers' monies were put into it, and now it's been stopped. Yes, now we have the big push in place now. So the National Cathedral too as well, a lot of taxpayers' monies went into it. Now we have the big push. The big push is also going. After 4 years, if another political party comes in power, they will say that they are not looking at big push, they are looking at something. And then we have a lot of uncompleted projects. But if we have a national developmental plan that we are adhering to, strictly adhering to a national developmental plan, then we'll be able to say that, okay, you came and then we are judging you based on these metrics. You are able to do this, and then you did it, and that's good. The next party that comes, whatever their manifesto is, should be in line with the National Developmental Plan. Let's say if the National Developmental Plan says that we have to build 50 hospitals within every 4 years, then you've come and then you've built, let's say, 10. or your manifesto should be in case that we are going to build, let's say, 6 every 6 months. So if you can put it in that way, so that at the end of your tenure, you are still adhering to the National Developmental Plan. We have a yardstick to measure your performance against, because every political party that comes, there is no national yardstick to measure their performance against.
Well, I think this conversation, if we decide to get into it, we'll use all the time, which is fast spent. But we have one last story then. Amidst the celebrations, there's still tragedy following us. And this one says, fire kills 6 in the late night fire at Ibuakwa Menchia. And it says here, a devastating fire outbreak at Ibuakwa Menchia in the Ashanti region has claimed the lives of 6 people, including a 3-month-old baby. The fire swept through a residential apartment around 12:30 a.m. on Monday, December 22, 2025, trapping victims inside. Now, the cause of the fire is still unknown and investigations are ongoing. The assemblyman for Ibuakwa Menchia, Ivan Sopoku, reported that the incident happened shortly after power was restored following a temporary outage on Sunday evening. Firefighters from Inkaria and Chedia stations, sorry if I've butchered the town's names, responded to the scene, but unfortunately the victims were already trapped. The Echima Nwabieja South Municipal Chief Executive Wisdom Oseiboama described the incident as very disturbing news and urged residents to prioritize safety measures, especially with the Christmas approaching. Now let's take a look at some of the videos on this same issue.
Me no matter. It's my wife crying a friend me. I said that's sorry now. If you need it, and I'm sorry to be sorry. Me buy to me say a jano annual to me call and the people come in with my friend who knew me catch give us so sorry. It's a classic kebe. You piano a jano neban. They say with me and so on. And I said, boy back who I will eat it and also buy said. I'm saying if you need to it's you need to be planning at them. See, you say you put them on. And keep I say keep buha. Boom, and keep buha. You say, as I say free high. It's Hanisha said, I make 5 years, and I win cigars who and then you boom, and I make Janus spread the year. So, it's you need to say, Father, going by you and you will say nipa. And I run back to.
So those were excerpts from the reactions of the people in the community and also an account by one of the neighbors. And this is just to tell us to be, very, very cautious and careful, especially in this festive season. I remember there's even a story about the increase in the demand for power or power supply, but our minister has also, assured us that we'll be getting constant power supply, even though the national grid is under quite some pressure. This is just to tell us that we need to prioritize our safety. He mentioned that there was also a cylinder that had exploded, all of that. And we need to kind of bring our minds back home, our surroundings. We shouldn't leave things to chance just like that. And we should also be our brother's keeper. He woke up, he called somebody, call somebody. You shouldn't say I'm minding my business, so you leave the issues there.
Yeah. So with what he mentioned, what actually came to mind is fire safety. We've had engagements time and time again with the Ghana National Fire Service on fire safety and then their education on fire safety and the likes. Now, what we realized in his submission, never did he once say that
they called the fire service. Yeah.
That is one thing because you cannot put out these fires yourself. So we have to have the fire service numbers, the emergency numbers and the likes at our fingertips. You know that when there's a fire outbreak, this is the number I'm calling, and I'm calling it fast. And by all means, I'll get a response and they'll come and help curb the fire. So just as you are calling your neighbors and all that, instruct, what fire service for? Call them, call this number, and they'll be here. If you try to make yourself a hero, going to fetch water, put it out, and you might end up, because there are some fires that once you even pour water on them, they end up you end up aggravating the situation. So the information or the knowledge on fire safety, how to fight them, the Ghana National Fire Service, they've been working together with us for some time now, and we are urging them that they have to continue in this particular way. We know that as part of their mandates, as part of the act that governs them, it talks about making sure that they give fire safety tips and education to people in the communities. And that is one part that we may not be seeing them actively doing. So they have to now up their game on that. Because when you listen to someone who, as a first respondent of a fire emergency, never once saying that they called the fire service, then it's alarming.
Yeah, it's alarming. We had a conversation with the fire service last week, with regards to the festivities. I think we may just have to continue that, encourage others to also look for information. There's a lot of information on our social media. So even if fire service is not actively, educating us, we can also help ourselves. We shouldn't always sit idle. And yes, Peter, one last submission, then we go briefly.
I wanted to say currently they are well equipped, and so it's not like previously. Now when you give them a call, they will just pull through. But before we go, I have some, birthday shout-outs.
Okay.
Today is Rejoice's birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you, Rejoice. And today is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to you,
Mommy Peter.
God bless you and enlarge your coast. And my nephew as well, Nana Kwame Yemchi. Happy birthday to you.
It's serious birthdays. But can I touch on a last story, which is actually very important?
Briefly,
because there was a situation in Latvia, to be precise, Riga University, where a Ghanaian student was said to have jumped from the 6th floor and landed on the floor and lost his life. But the family are currently disputing it vigorously, because they went to see the voice notes that the guy had, Nana AJ had sent to his family. And when he sent, it was like he was being poisoned, or some people were after his life. Yeah. So according to the reports that they are saying that he jumped from the 6th floor and fell and lost his life, other people are saying that he may have been pushed, or they are trying to end his life. And as a result of that, the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has assigned an envoy from Germany which oversees the Latvian and then all some European countries. So they are actually going there with some family members to assist in investigations, and then they are working on it. The Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa himself will be there this coming week, so to make sure that the situation or the right justice is served to the perpetrators.
Right. Thank you so much for that update. I'm sure more on this will come later as time goes on. And yes, this brings us to the end of the online and print review segment. Up next is the business segment, and please do stay tuned.
Hello, good morning to you, and many thanks for joining me on the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Peter Nsia, and now to our stories. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, says the central bank aims to reduce the non-performing loans (NPL) ratio to 10% by the end of 2026, down from the current 19.5% recorded in October 2025. He explained that the target is part of a broader effort to strengthen asset quality in the banking sector, particularly as interest rates begin to decline.
Speaking at the Governor's Day annual bankers dinner organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Dr. Isiama noted that an improving macroeconomic environment should allow banks to restructure loans prudently without weakening regulatory standards. He also urged commercial banks to play a stronger role in Ghana's export drive by boosting export finance, supporting agro-processing and non-traditional exports, and also taking advantage of opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area to help businesses expand into regional and global markets.
And now to energy. Energy and Green Transition Minister Dr. John Abdullah Jinapor has reassured Ghanaians that electricity supply will remain stable despite the national grid recording a historic peak in power demand during the festive season. He noted that electricity consumption has surged to an all-time high of about 4,300 megawatts, placing significant pressure on the power system. However, he said the ministry and its agencies, including GRICO, are working continuously to merge demand and maintain system stability.
Dr. Jinapor outlined both short and long-term measures to strengthen the power sector, such as improving fuel supply to thermal plants, boosting domestic petroleum production, and accelerating renewable energy projects to reduce dependency on conventional sources. He also highlighted the role of legal professionals in safeguarding the sector through effective contract reviews and negotiations. He also praised the interagency health work for promoting staff wellness and proposed making it quarterly activity. The minister reaffirmed government's commitment to ensuring reliable and uninterrupted power supply to support economic activity, especially during peak periods.
And this is all we have for you on the Business Update segment. My name is Peter Nsia. Benedict Nketia-Kwartin is here to take us through the world of sports. You know, AFCON is going on.
Yes. Thank you very much, my colleague, my friend. Peter, thank you for the business segment. Of course, yes. This morning we are coming to talk about the sports segment. We are coming to talk about what is happening in the world of sport. And then we can't begin with the world of sport without talking about AFCON that just began on Sunday. So over Sunday, there was some sort of introduction, opening ceremony for the AFCON competition in Morocco. And then it was quite a thrilling event. I don't know. My producer, if you have some videos, some pictures to show, so on our screens, these are pictures, just pictures of the activities that went on in Morocco, Rabat. So yes, it was interesting, and you could tell from the richness of the competition. Africa, we've invested so much in this competition, this African Cup of Nations, this section of it, and then this is a testament of whatever we have reaped, whatever we have sowed into the system, the world of football. So yes, let me just go through some sort of a little understanding of the tournament. Sure. So this tournament is being held in Morocco. We have a lot of stadiums, about 8 to 9 stadiums that have been slated for this tournament. And then yes, this tournament is dubbed as a tournament of first and records. Let me mention some of the records that have been broken. So we have the highest sales of tickets, that is in Africa plus Europe.
Wow.
So combining the number of sales in a specific tournament, we have Euros that happens in European countries. We have the CONCACAF, that is for South American countries. And then when you combine the tickets that have been sold, African AFCON, this edition of AFCON has sold more tickets than all of them. We have 300 million plus euros in sponsorship. This is wow, because it means that people are turning their attention into African sport. We can all attest to the fact that most of the European teams, the big international teams that are around, Real Madrid, Spain, even the national teams, most of their players have their roots from Africa.
Sure.
Yes. So it goes a long way to tell us that we have the men, we have the guys available to play football, those to make sports
really
entertaining. Yes. So yes, we have the highest revenue before kickoff.
Wow.
So one of the records has been broken. The biggest total and average stadium capacity. This is also wow. And then we have the wildest global broadcast reach in African history. So every corner, this sport is reaching, especially in Africa. So some of the first achieved, we have 9 world-class stadiums, like I mentioned earlier. 9 world-class stadiums. So these are not just any normal average stadiums. They are world-class stadiums. We have every team gets its own base camp. So we have a base camp for every team that is participating in the AFCON competition this year. All teams are staying in a 5-star hotel. This is wow. Morocco, they have outdone themselves, because I mean, we've seen issues where some countries, some players complain of their place of residence. That is the hotels they stay in. This time around, they're all staying in 5-star hotels. We have HDR, drones, spider cam, and ultra motion at every match. So we are capturing every detail. No detail is eluding us. We are capturing every detail. We have direct international broadcast from pitch-side studios and no France really. So this is actually top-notch. There's been a lot of preparations into this competition. We have the fully centralized AV production inside host nation. So the host nation, that is Morocco. We have the AV production, where we are broadcasting live to each and everyone ready to watch this game. High-speed rail linking host cities. That is, you can watch multiple games in a day. If there are about 4 matches in a day, you can watch them, because we have a train system, a rail system, where you can travel from one city to another city in minutes. So you realize that Morocco, they're actually ready for this competition. And so, I mean, these are some of the fairs that's been introduced. So Morocco is not just hosting AFCON. They're actually redefining African football. This is actually very good, and it's going to boost the CV, let me put it that way, the CV of African football. Now let me move on to our stories for today. This is just something to just introduce our people, our viewers out there.
So before you go to that, it looks very exciting. It means that Africa, we are doing something.
We are doing something. We are doing very well.
And like you rightly said, we are producing the best footballers of all time. There's no doubt about that.
Exactly. You go to teams, even the power teams. In England, we have African footballers there. You go to Spain, African footballers there. France, African footballers there. Germany, most of these power countries, we have the African footballers. They are the ones holding the teams down. So you can tell that we have the men. It's just sometimes due to citizenship. I'm using quotes because, I mean, if it was me, I would still naturalize with them. I mean, yes. Yeah, so that is but just by the way. Let me move on to our first story for the day. That is Morocco roll into AFCON 2025 with commanding win over Comoros in Rabat. So the first match that was played after the opening ceremony was the host nation playing against Comoros. Remember, Comoros played against Ghana. Comoros is one of the reasons why we didn't qualify for the AFCON, Africa Cup of Nations. But then, it's just by the way. So yes, Morocco played against Comoros and they won 2-0. It was an entertaining game. One of the best goals in the tournament was scored in this match. Yes, it was scored by Ayub El Kabi. He scored this very interesting goal. That is a bicycle kick. So you can tell that these are the African players out there. I mean, they are here to show the class they belong to.
And Morocco is one of the teams in Africa that are undoubtedly one of the best teams.
Yes,
you know, so
they are tipped to actually win this competition.
Exactly.
They're being tipped to. They are one of the favorites out there. Yes. So after the end of the game, after 90 minutes, Morocco went on ahead to win by 2-0. It was actually a poor start for Comoros, but then I think there are other 2 more matches to be played. So I think we don't have to, downplay them, downplay their performance and all that. They played very well. Just that Morocco was actually the better team out there. Now let me move on to our next story. It's still on the AFCON. So our very own our the president of GFA, Ghana Football Association, Keto Kreku, has joined the CAF and FIFA power brokers for strategic talks at FIFA's Rabat office. So the president of FIFA moved down to Africa for talks with the CAF president and, of course, the vice president of CAF, who also doubles up as the president of GFA. Sure. So Gianno Infantino, sorry, the name is actually it escapes me sometimes. Yes, so he's moved down to Africa. He joined with the president of CAF, and then he met the GFA president, who is also the vice president for CAF. So they met, and then in Rabat, the same city that hosted the opening ceremony for the AFCON. That was on Sunday. And yesterday, Monday, they met for a meeting in relation to African football, creating links to FIFA, when it comes to worldwide football and all that. Yeah, so one way or the other, Ghana is also putting ourselves out there because we're also benefiting from this. The fact that our president is the CAF vice president, and he's also meeting with the FIFA president for discussions based on sports infrastructure, anything that has to do with sports in the African countries.
And
so
we
yes,
hope that this actually translates into local leagues here.
Yes,
all the strategies and all of that.
So hopefully something big will come out of this meeting because we are actually hoping for more room, more opportunities to come out for our players, both in Africa and both in Ghana, in all African countries around the world. So yes, this is something just to boost our morale and let us know that we are being watched as African countries. Even for this tournament, we are being watched because they could have met anywhere else, somewhere in quotes better, but then they still decided to meet in Rabat, the same city hosting the African Cup of Nations, and then they had this meeting. So this competition, the AFCON is actually running through this month till January 18th, 2026. So we have more games out there for our viewers worldwide and also in Africa. Just enjoy the AFCON. Let me bring you back home. Okay. So our next story is boxing. Club TV. We diversify when it comes to sports. We have F1, we talk about F1, we talk about boxing, golfing, football, anything that has to do with sports entertainment. So yes, our very own Freezy McBones held a fight against Tete. This guy who is like 24 years, 25 years. Freezy is like 36. Wow. Last time I checked, 36, 35, 36, I stand to be corrected. So there was a competition between them. So Tete stands McBones to win, to claim the WBA African Light Heavyweight title. Sorry, viewers, for getting the names wrong. So it's Africa Light Heavyweight title. So I remember somewhere around last year, 2024, Freezy was interviewed after his fight as to why he's not creating the avenue to fight this same gentleman, and then he made a claim that it's because the gentleman has not really reached the level, attained the level as to him, because the guy has to fight a certain number of fights before he can face Freezy. So at long last, the battle came to him. Yes. So at the Legon Sports Stadium on Sunday, this competition happened. On Saturday, this competition happened, and it was between Tete and then McBones, and then of course Tete came out victorious.
I mean, it was very interesting, and then people have been talking after the match that so it means that kudos to those those boys who are training hard to pick up that profession, they are really doing well. Like you said, Mark Bones is somebody we've been hearing in the news who has been, going on this fight and all that outside Ghana and all that. So
he's unbeaten in all his fights so far. That is 10 plus, 11 plus fights. Yeah. He's unbeaten. And then, unfortunately for him, he lost against this gentleman.
Interesting.
But I think boxing, aside the fact that boxing comes with experience, there is also the age factor. Yes, when I was watching the game, I realized that with the fact that McBones is experienced, he used that to dominate the fight.
Sure.
Yes, he was dominating the fight for a while, but then the age factor where the younger one has a bit of strength, just a little bit over the older generation, created a difference.
So the endurance.
Yes, the endurance in the fight. Yeah. McBones was dominating because he's experienced. He realized that, when you've done this thing for some time now, you know when to relax, when to attack, when to jab, when to defend, and all those things. But then, of course, the gentleman has also done his homework. He was fully prepared for this because he knows that McBones is actually an international fighter. Yeah. He's a UK-based fighter, and he's recognized around the world. So this is his opportunity to also make a name, create that venue, create an opportunity for him for international viewers out there. So yes, the fight was actually interesting. It was interesting, but unfortunately, McBones has suffered his first defeat in his professional career. Tete has 11 victories so far. Yes, so he's also unbeaten in his fight. Wow. I'm sure there will be a rematch. I really hope so. There has to be a rematch because McBones was actually surprised. The match went to the end, 12 rounds and everything, but then this was the calls by the referee. So the counting, the fouls. It got to a time McBones had to bite the shoulders of Tete.
For me, with that one, I find it difficult to believe because they have this. Is it tooth guard or something?
Yes.
How was
it's still because the tooth guard is just the top. The down is just a few boxes who put on the down, and then you can still bite because you can still control your jaws. You can
but for a professional to do that is something.
It's not actually news. It's not actually news for people biting each other in sports. Even football. Okay, football because you don't have a teeth guard. But we have Suarez biting people in boxing too. I think this is not the first time I've heard about a boxer biting another boxer. Yes, and over the weekend there was a fight between Anthony Joshua and then Jake Paul. Yes, and Anthony Joshua came out victorious. So this weekend was full of boxing fights. It was fun watching the fight between Joshua and then Jake. This looked like a David and Goliath fight. Just that Goliath came out victorious. It was actually a handicap in my opinion because Joshua was actually dominating in the whole fight. But then that's sports for you. That's anything can happen. Let's move on to our last story, and our last story unfortunately is a sad one. So we are talking about NASCAR. So a former NASCAR driver, Greg Biffle, becomes the latest athlete to be killed by aviation tragedy. So this is an unfortunate news. Unfortunately, this NASCAR driver together with his family. So I learned he was traveling with his wife and then his kid with a total of about 7 people who were with him on a private jet. The private jet crashed in North Carolina on Thursday, which has killed a total of 7 people. So our condolences to the family and to the NASCAR family out there. Because this is actually one of the legends. He's rated as one of the 75th greatest drivers. He's part of them. He's won 19 tournaments so far. So you realize that he's actually a good driver. Wow. But it's quite unfortunately he had to lose his life to aviation. Wow. We've had issues like this happening, and then hopefully there can be a solution to aviation accidents and all that. So yes, this is This is all I have for us on the sports update segment. Let me use this opportunity to extend my Merry Christmas wishes to our viewers out there. Thank you so much for sticking and staying with us, being with us throughout the year, and it's getting to the end of the year. I mean, it's actually the end of the year, and you've been with us. Your comments, your likes, sharing our links, and then talking to us, correcting us when we are wrong and all that. We appreciate you so much. I want to wish my family, the Kwatin family, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And yes, of course, Peter, thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, too, for the update. Thank you very much. And this is how we end the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. See you same time on Thursday. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.